voie à une entrée en gare du train TER vers Nancy-Ville.
Alright, so good morning, and yeah, we got some new shoes in for testing here. This is the Adidas Prime X3 Strung, which I was very excited about, as I had the V1 of the shoe, not the Strung, but the actual original one back in 2021 or 2022, I think. And yeah, that was one of my absolute favorite shoes ever, really. It was just so wild and so bouncy, and yeah, just an awesome shoe, really. And yeah, I skipped the version 2 as well. It was just so much heavier, and most reviews were saying it was just kind of a bit dumbed down and yeah, not as fun, really. And yeah, this V3 here is one I just had to pick up because I mean, it looks absolutely crazy, and yeah, let's see how it runs. So I took this shoe out yesterday for its first run, and I was almost like a bit underwhelmed in a way. It's not like it's a bad shoe, but I was just kind of thinking, this is 300 euros, and I don't know, it actually feels like almost fairly conventional and actually quite a bit firmer than I thought, and definitely firmer than the V1 back in the day. Actually my very first experience with a strung upper here, and I'll be fully honest, I'm kind of thinking what's the big deal with this, as I don't know, I just don't really see the real advantages here. I mean, this material does look and feel very cool, and it is, yeah, pretty impressive technology, but in terms of actual performance, sure, this is light, but there's a bit of a problem, or two problems really. And number one is that you just can't really adjust the fit on this a whole lot, because just the material is so kind of stiff. Like if I pull in the laces, just doesn't feel like there's actually much happening here. And yeah, that is a bit of an issue, as I do have some heel lift on this, and I have this on both shoes, and notice it going uphill that yeah, my heel is just always sliding out of the shoe a tiny bit there. And yeah, it's also just, yeah, it's quite hard to actually get on foot. And yeah, the Alphafly solves this problem quite well with the Pro Tab, and most Adidas shoes do have a Pro Tab now, but yeah, this one for some reason doesn't. And I don't know, I don't want to say the word gimmick, as that does sound a bit harsh, of course, but yeah, I just don't really see the actual benefit of this. And you know, Adidas has an amazing upper already on the Pro 4, and I think if they simply transferred that to this shoe, that would actually be a pretty big improvement. So yeah, as I said, I can't directly compare this to the Prime X2 as I haven't run in it, but I do know that this version has lost some weight, but it's still 255 grams in my size EU 40, and that's definitely up there. That's almost Vomero 18 weight and almost Pegasus Premium weight. And you know, the funny thing is, it's lighter than the Peg Premium, yes, but it actually doesn't feel lighter. It's just such a wide base, and there's just so much underfoot here that it just feels bulky, and it just feels like this massive object swinging on your foot. And I think the Pegasus Premium just got a narrower base, and yeah, actually, despite being even heavier, it feels more nimble than this. 50 millimeters is definitely a lot, and a lot of millimeters, but other than that, I don't think the shoe really gives you anything too crazy and outlandish. And yeah, in terms of super stacked shoes, well, back in the day the Prime X1 just totally unique, just nothing even close to this stack height. But now we've got shoes like the Pegasus Premium, which yeah, I might get slated for this, but I would rather be in the Pack Premium than this one. Just feels like the narrower base, and yeah, the air zoom unit and the Zoom X just feels like it gives you more of a unique experience than the Lightstrike Pro and all the carbon in this one.
RB2 als Richtung Wohnmarinfunding.
So yeah, I'm kind of wondering what is it with this shoe and what is it with this midsole and why is it not really engaging for me. And I think there's basically two reasons for this. And number one is of course this super wide base here, which you just see immediately, and it does feel quite boat-like. And number two is I think this shoe might have too much carbon in it. I think maybe that's the reason, because you've got the carbon plate which runs on the top here and separates this top layer, and then you've got Adidas very, very stiff energy rods which are angled downwards here, and I think that's just too many stiffening elements, and I think it just takes away too much of the cushioning and too much of the bounce of the shoe.
Voie 4B, entrée au quart du train.
So yeah, the V1, amazing shoe, but it did have one major flaw, and that was the stability, or mostly on uneven terrain. And good news is that this is much more stable, and I actually ran this on some cobblestones yesterday, which was probably, kind of a death sentence with the V1, and did absolutely fine. I think in that sense, making the base so wide in this V3 definitely helps quite a bit there. Yeah, back in the day, the original Prime X, it was always this weird shoe that really wasn't anything in particular. It was definitely not really a speed shoe, though it was surprisingly fast, but just a bit too bulky, and wasn't really a daily trainer either, just too unstable. And at the end of the day, I did run 600k in it, so clearly did have its use case for me. And it's just a shoe that you just put on foot and just so fun to run in, with the crazy bounce and the super high stack, very soft foam. It was just such an enjoyable shoe really. And despite skipping the version 2, this V3 here, it's just, I don't know, just got more expensive and just a bit toned down really. Yeah, this shoe almost feels like a concept shoe in a way for Adidas. Just a way for them to present their top technologies really. And I mean, the strung upper on this is pretty impressive. It is a cool piece, and it does feel very nice. But in the end, I think you've got, two different compounds of Lightstrike Pro. You've got 2 layers of carbon, and all the stack height in this. And I don't know, the performance, it just doesn't really match up to the looks of this shoe. So I think that's it here on the Adidas Prime X3 Strung, and this is definitely a cool shoe and an impressive piece of technology for sure. But in terms of the actual ride, I just can't help myself but be maybe a bit underwhelmed by this, especially considering the price. I think I was just expecting a bit more from this. And anyway, hope you found this entertaining, and like and subscribe as always, and see you soon.